Hey guys, it's GirlGotGame. Welcome back to London Detective Mysteria, where we are here to do this sweet boy's route. Well, not route, but rather his bad ending, because it's bad ending time. And we have started just as his route has begun. This is the chapter Stolen Treasure. This is basically right at the beginning, and we've invited everyone over for tea. But this time we're gonna pick a different option. So, without further ado, instead of being concerned, you should really be more careful. You silly. And, man, me and Emily were on the same wavelength there. You silly thing. You ought to be more careful. I'm sorry. There is certainly something to be said about good manners. Alright, and that was that. Okay, on to the next choice. What do we got this time? Ah, this one. Thanks for your concern, but I won't back down. I forgot to actually... Something that will help me figure out if I'm reading stuff I've read before. Danger or no, I want to accept his invitation to duel. But if you were to be injured, or even worse... That may happen, yes. I'm aware of the risks that come with my decision. Okay. So no... sad face. And this time I have to pick me? Apparently? How could this be? He suspected me! Me?
A pretty face simply isn't enough to deceive me, Lupin!
I'm not trying to deceive anyone, and I'll refrain from commenting on the pretty part of that statement.
That sounds precisely like what a criminal would say.
His finger nearly touched my nose. It had come so close. He seemed to have no question of my guilt, so how could I convince him otherwise? Sir, I think I know a way to prove she is who she claims. Lupin? I will ask her a question, that which only the real Miss Whiteley can answer. If she answers correctly, then she must be her. Do you remember the trip to Hyde Park as part of our class studies? I remember, yes. Then do you remember who packed my lunch? It was your father, wasn't it? The kedgeree was shaped like a heart, and within that your name was written. Please, Miss Whiteley, you've said enough. You look so flushed. Are you embarrassed? I thought what your father did was rather thoughtful.
Huh. Lupin's reaction is enough to know she answered correctly.
I would agree. He did indeed have a hot chick. Ah! Don't be ashamed. It was lovely. Really, it was. Lupin's face flushed a deep red to his ears as he desperately made to silence the inspector. Well, there you have it, then. That was sweet. His way of testing her, instead of pulling her face apart. Like, do you remember this embarrassing thing that happened to me? Oh. Yeah, actually. This, and this. That was much better. Alright, I can't remember how much oh yeah, he reveals himself here, that's right. Couldn't remember exactly how this chapter ended. Oh yeah, we first got introduced to Dad. Good old Dad Lupin. Okay, and now we're on to the next chapter. Just a couple more things to pick. And apparently I should pick Watson this time, so why not? He's so offended.
What? Me? You may think you have us fooled with your simplicity, but you can't fool me. I can't possibly be Lupin. Right, Holmes? Much as I'd like to agree, the possibility isn't zero. No! I thought you would defend me!
At any rate, the way he's so desperate to convince everyone otherwise is very much like the real Watson.
How can I prove myself so that you'll believe me? Tell me, Emily!
Well, I have an idea, but you'll have to forgive me for doing it. bear with me and grit your teeth for a moment. It's to prove your innocence. She does like to pull people's faces apart. Her and Holmes are very much alike.
Why? Wait, Emily, why are you touching my cheeks? No! No!
I pinched and tugged with all my might.
Miss Whiteley, that is quite enough. He looks as though he's about to cry. Oh! Not even my dad has been so rough with me.
Ah, that mysterious father of yours.
Oh, that doesn't say much. He's always preferred gentle lectures with words over action.
But it's proven you are who you say you are, yes? All's well that ends well.
I suppose so, but I can't say I'm very happy about the way we went about it.
Look, man, it's gonna be either me or Holmes that did it to you, so... you might as well just take it as it is. So I guess Lupin didn't like the fact that we were intimately pulling on another boy's face instead of his own. In the bad ending. He kind of just switched things around with proving innocence there. And now for Snuggles in the Cave, and then Endearments, and that's our last choice. Alright, so even though on the bad ending, we still get the Snuggles. The Nape Snuggles. Alright, and this time I have to say... Princess? Stop calling me a princess! I don't know why you call me that, but I'm not one. This line doesn't make any sense with what happened just now, but okay. I think she said, I don't know what you mean when you call me that. Okay, it still makes sense. Eh? Alright, to be continued. So what happened after the Snuggles? Bouquet of roses. Naturally. Dad. So picking up right from there.
Also, my son, I'd like you to tell me something.
Lupin only spared minimal interest for his father, who was conversely very tense. What?
Why did you steal that photograph from the Whiteley mansion?
Why do you want to know?
You weren't ordered to steal it by someone, were you? I don't want to believe it, but you didn't attempt to sneak among Spellbound's ranks in my place for the sake of your
You think I would do something in your place? That never crossed my mind. What matters most to me is me. I would have to be mad to do my work on behalf of anyone else.
I suppose loving oneself is yet another form, but you would do well to discover many more. Love for your father is a fine one, if I may volunteer a start.
You may not. And were I ever to know love, I would have to let it go. I don't see the point.
Well, affairs with women are infinitely more labyrinthine than that of treasure, and love can take many forms. I do think you're a touch too cautious when it comes to love, however, unlike myself.
Ah, very unlike yourself. There are few who know more about love in all its ridiculous forms than you.
I'd rather you not look at me with such contempt. I know what you're thinking, and so I will speak candidly. My one true love forever has, and will forever be, your mother.
Could have fooled me. You seem to display an interest in every woman you meet.
Oh, not at all. I merely believe in treasuring my fortuitous meetings with them. Ah, and one more question about that girl. Do you...
I wonder that myself. I hardly know the answer. His minimal interest dissolved entirely. Lupin made to leave.
Confound it! I haven't finished talking!
I know what the question will be without you asking.
It must have hurt her deeply to be abandoned by you.
He stopped.
Your heart aches at the thought, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Papa, what are you scheming?
It is not my intention to tell you what you did is wrong, For there are indeed times when refusing a woman is a form of love in itself. But son, I don't want you to lie to your own heart. Carry on with the lies for too long, and you will no longer be able to discern them from the truth. I did much the same to your mother when we were young. It is only because she was willing to accept me, fact and fiction, that you are here today.
My mom was of an eccentric mind to have chosen you.
Mon Dieu! I don't have the faintest idea where you adopted that chic. I certainly never raised you to be like this.
Rest easy. You were responsible for training me in my craft, but I raised myself. I became my own man, height and all. And someday, I'll make myself into a gentleman thief so celebrated that my name will dwarf yours. He could not help but recall her expression from when he left her. Wait! Wait, please! Don't go! This is for her as much as it is for me, this answer. It is the best I can do. I can't involve her any more than I already have. And so he closed his eyes, the better to see nothing, and the better to erase her from his thoughts. New events played out the day after Holmes, Watson, and I returned from Cheddar Gorge. My heart swirled with thoughts of yesterday's events, persisting and persisting even as I was walking through the school.
Emily, don't you want to rest some more? Yesterday must have been a tiring ordeal for you.
Thank you, Watson, but I'd rather be here. If I stayed home, my head would be full of nothing but recent events regardless.
It continues to boggle the mind. How did you fall from a cliff chasing Lupin? A cliff! Not even the Yard would commit a blunder so stupid. Enough, Holmes! You could stand to be kinder to her. She is worthy of commendation for surviving through the night in a cave after her fall, but allowing Lupin to escape means all her efforts were for naught. So, Miss Whiteley, now that you have learned your lesson, I ask that you act with more prudence in the future. Though we both know the one who will catch Lupin at the end of this race is me. I don't need you getting in my way.
Alright, actually, speaking of you being all tsundere and stuff, I don't know why, but this made me think of the statuses. It's pretty even. And nothing with you two. Bleh.
It's not often I see you obsessing over a criminal like this. Did it frustrate you that much when he escaped before? Me. Frustrated. My dear Watson, kindly keep your nonsense to yourself. Ouch. He's kept it from showing on his face, but he is frustrated to be sure. What's wrong, Emily? You've been staring at Lupin's seat for a while.
Have I? It isn't for any particular reason.
I wonder when he'll be well enough to attend class again. I hope it's soon.
Yes, so do I. Several weeks came and went with Lupin nowhere to be seen. No local thefts to cause a stir. No presence in class. And I did not know what became of my photograph. My only clue was a recent article in the paper which told of a renowned painting having been stolen from the Louvre in Paris. The culprit? A certain gentleman thief. The act designated him an international criminal, a dastardly man to be pursued even by those outside of Great Britain at all costs. I see Lupin has become a wanted man abroad now as well. With so many after him, it would be nothing short of a miracle if I were to see him again. Drat! That makes it sound as though I miss him, and I absolutely do not. I'd hoped to sound brave. I'd hoped to sound defiant. I wish I could sound the part, for I certainly didn't feel it. The ache in my heart was dull but ever present. My lady, does something trouble you? Such vexation whilst holding your head in your hands is a waste on your beauty. It's nothing of importance. But, Alicia, why are you carrying that bouquet of roses? They arrived at the mansion not long ago. Though they are addressed to you, the sender has chosen to remain anonymous. Really? I thought it may be a practical joke at first, but aren't they lovely? See here, the thorns have been carefully removed from each individual stem. Aww. He dethorned them for us, finally. One might wonder if they are a gift from an admiring gentleman who had to conceal his identity. I closely examined the roses in Alicia's hands. She was correct. They had been carefully dethorned and were filling the room with a sweet-smelling fragrance. The scent isn't quite what one would expect from roses. It would be a terrible shame to dispose of them. What shall I do? Indeed, it would be a shame, and they don't appear to be anything suspect. I've no idea who this mysterious gentleman could be, but it doesn't change that these flowers are beautiful. I'll accept them. Very well, then. Where would you like for me to display them? The entrance hall or the main hall? Oh, but what about your bedroom? Oh, you don't need to put them anywhere. You don't think Lupin's impersonating Alicia right now, do you? That would be amazing. Oh, yeah! Yeah. Emily, my girl. I'll leave the arrangements to the real Alicia. My lady? I'm not certain what you mean. I thought I told you before that we possess no such perfumes in this mansion, nor do the servants wear it. Yet, in addition to the fragrance of the roses in your hands, it is distinctly on your person as well. Now, why is that? And another thing. All of the maids in my family's service love flowers. They are responsible for their placement throughout the mansion. Never once have they asked where they should display them because they know precisely the best places for themselves. Is that so? I never thought being so considerate would be my undoing. Alicia tossed the roses above her. And in their wrapped bouquet did they land in my hand squarely with their condition pristine. I did intend to send this to you from afar as a present. But I feared how lonely you were without me, so I simply had to come pay you a visit. What was this? My head lost itself for a moment. I looked down at the roses, then up, and Alicia was no longer Alicia, but Gentleman Thief Lupin. In his hand was a single red rose. How dare you think I would be lonely? You are joking, Lupin. And what about you? I thought you were in France. The Strait of Dover becomes but a puddle to my wings if you are anxious on the opposite side. Anxious? I would never be so worried about you. You sound very sure. Then again, you are ever crisp as winter. To say you had no idea who your mysterious gentleman is when you had every idea it was me. You aren't a gentleman, though. Just a thief. Humbug! I am a thief with all the style and charm of a gentleman. You have but to ask, my dear lady, and I would cross the sea and evade the watchful eyes of your spine-chilling butler for you. Stop playing your games! Why was he so meek when we parted ways? He sounded so sincere, but here he is behaving as though nothing ever happened. Of course, he didn't mean a word of it. He does nothing but lie. Every detail came back in a torrent that filled me with a fresh anger. I fear I can't leave this to Holmes after all. Oh dang, she's going for him. Lupin! I will be the one who catches you, and I will not fail! Oh man. Well. You assume you'll always have your way, and that will be your undoing. There will come a day when I outwit you, mark my words! I threw the bouquet at him with all the force I had. The glare that followed could have surely cracked glass, but still he stood unaffected, a spring to his step and a wink to his smile. That's it. That is how it should be. I'm a gentleman thief, and you are a detective. We are destined for the dance between hunter and hunted. But I am honored that you would permit me, choose me by name, to be your target. To be captured by you is almost an attractive enough prospect for me to want to try it. Well, you can try it right now! No. What fun would there be if I made it easy? Lupin took hold of my wrist that was still held outwards from having thrown the roses. He pulled suddenly, very forcefully, till our noses nearly touched. I steal the treasures of others, but I dislike my own treasures being stolen. My liberty, for instance, is dear to me. But if you are so determined to rob me of it, then I am a good enough man to participate in your game. Take me, if you can. Yes, by all means, use all the skill you can employ for this. In the meantime, take this rose as a gift. It is filled with my love for you. Throw your love in the rubbish bin for all I want it! I smacked away the rose he presented, the one that still had thorns. Its many petals dispersed into a haphazard mess throughout the room, some petals still unpolished and beautiful, whilst others were split and spoilt. Lupin predicted my anger, certainly, and used the moment the rose petals were spread to dash to the open window. My heart is already aflutter at the thought of our next meeting, courageous princess. Until then, Emily. Hold on! Before the petals had fallen to the floor, he jumped out of the window and was gone. I rushed after him, but upon looking outside, I saw no one. I missed the thief by a hair! He would continue his antics, his targeting of heirlooms and taking of treasures beyond this day. Alright then. If you want me to come after you so desperately, then I won't let you down! You just wait, Lupin! I would catch him. If it took everything in me, I would catch him. The room was permeated with a wonderful scent, and it served to remind me, to anger me, to inspire me, to never cease my pursuit. And I would need this desire for pursuit, for without it I could not ignore the stabbing pain that his disappearance left behind. You did it to yourself, girl. You know what? I really like that ending, though. Because it's just more of a slow burn enemies to lovers is all it is. He's just gonna have to work extra hard, which I'm like low-key okay with. You think you can snuggle me naked in a cave and look at my nape all weird and then I just fall into your arms? Well, you got another thing coming. I'm gonna capture you. I do like their banter back and forth when she's like trying to catch him and he's running away from her. That's good fun times. I mean, we had good fun times on his route proper, certainly, but that was great. I really liked that ending. But man, he had like zero time for Dad in this one. He's just like, you suck, Dad. Bleh. Dad tried to help, but just didn't work out that time. That was good. You know what? I'm glad to have a bad ending that made me laugh. It's always a good thing if a bad ending makes you laugh instead of sob your heart out. Because then is it really bad after all? I like the bad endings in this game. There's like hope attached to all of them so far. Although I understand once I get to Jack's bad endings, it's just bad. So I'm gonna become complacent just now, and then I'm gonna be in for a rude awakening when it comes to Jack's route, but for now, I can bask in the joy that is the bad endings in this game, because they ain't so bad, really. In fact, they're somewhat entertaining. Well, let's see, what did we get? The end? Just end, question mark. Alright. Well, we did it, everybody. I wonder what painting he stole. I was excited for a moment. I thought maybe he did find a painting of his mom. That would have been so cool. But anyway, that is that. We are finished with our delightful Gentleman Thief. Thank you guys very much for joining me. That was a blast. I thoroughly enjoyed all of Lupin's route and epilogue and bad ending, everything that it had to offer. It's, he's got a very secure spot there at the top. If something knocks it off, I'm gonna be shocked. Jack, it's up to you, but it's gonna be a while before we get there. I kinda doubt, Kobayashi and Marple are going to do it because they're just little side friendship things. So it's up to Jack. We'll see what Jack's got eventually, but we are done with this game for now. So, with that being said, we're gonna go back to Magical Diary. And we got a side route over there, actually. We are going to be doing Raven Darkstar's route, so that should be rather interesting. I don't really know what to expect from her, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of vampire cape poses going on at the very least, so hopefully I'll see you over there, guys. Thanks again for joining me, and until next time, I will see you later.